But the reason why I did this, as I explained earlier this morning, is because just like with the UCLA student encampments, I wanted to give you guys a firsthand account of everything that was going on. A firsthand account of everything that was going on and my own personal experience and how I felt and did I feel unsafe and to show you, like, was it truly that chaotic, or if it was chaotic, who was causing this chaos? Who was causing this commotion? Now, the reason why I did that, of course, is because we cover a lot of these protests. We cover a lot of these protests on a daily basis all around the planet. And sometimes we attend these protests ourselves. But like, I think it's important to show firsthand accounts on the ground directly, because I feel like it contradicts a lot of the testimony, or not testimony necessarily, but it contradicts a lot of the media coverage that you see about these protests, because the media coverage is short. It's short, piffy, quick, and hyper focuses on all of the high notes, hyper focuses on all of the craziest aspects of the protest, right? And when you watch it from above, even if you're watching it in real time, you don't get a full assessment of like who is causing the harm, who is causing the chaos, who is causing the instability. The media oftentimes also takes a sensationalist approach. The mainstream media takes a sensationalist approach, even when they're being shot directly by the fucking cops. Like, this is a great example, right? Cop in this clip deliberately lines her up, shoots her, literally turns in her direction from behind. It's in broad daylight. It's on camera. This is a U.S. correspondent for 9 News Australia, okay? Lauren Tomasi. Let's take a look at what happens. I want you to hyper-focus on this corner of the screen here. I'm going to show you.
This situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
Look, this guy.
You just shut the fuck up.
You okay?
I'm good.
Now, why did I show you this? One, because it shows, once again, the depravity of American police brutality in broad daylight, in real time, in 4K, okay? Or, 1080p, whatever. But the other reason why I showed you this is because the role the media plays is so defensive of cops that 9 News Australia, whose correspondent just got shot by a cop in broad daylight with a less lethal that is not supposed to be aimed at a person, especially not supposed to be aimed at a person at that proximity, because it can be lethal at that proximity. This is how they covered it. U.S. correspondent Lauren Tomasi has been caught in the crossfire as the LAPD fired rubber bullets at protesters in the heart of Los Angeles. Dude, that's your own fucking reporter that just got shot. You're not even American. This is what I mean when I say the media, mainstream outlets, they have a primary responsibility to defend these institutions. They have to defend the police, even when they are the ones getting shot. It makes no sense. This guy literally, directly from that proximity, knew exactly who the fuck this person was. Like, as in, knew that this was a reporter, aimed at the reporter, and shot her with a less lethal rubber bullet from a proximity that could be lethal, okay? But even then, the media is using passive voice to describe it. Even then, when their own guys are getting shot, they still use passive voice, because their primary function, the primary role that they serve, is to be in defense of institutions like the police, right? That's it. I showed you this because if you get your notes exclusively from mainstream outlets, you are going to lose a lot of nuance. You're going to lose a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. Another example I used was, of course, the ABC coverage or the CBS coverage, where like the dude, the sexy war correspondent guy, was deployed into downtown Los Angeles, right? And the sexy war correspondent guy who was in downtown Los Angeles was behind the police line, and was like, oh, well, the cops are being, the cops were experiencing a barrage of like rocks and really dangerous things, water bottles being thrown in their direction. And it's like, he had to literally go through so many cartridges from deployed less lethal munitions and crowd dispersal agents like tear gas and pepper spray to fish out a piece of concrete to be like, look at how dangerous this is. And it's like, yeah, dude, it is dangerous. You're in full body armor, by the way, not the journalist, but the cops are in fucking full body armor. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But like I said, the reason why I went down there and the reason why I will continue going to these things is to show you a different perspective, to show you a perspective from the side of the protesters, because you are not a cop, you are not a politician, you are a regular civilian. And one day there will be an issue. If you don't care about this one, there will be an issue that you do care about, so much so that you will go out and you will want to protest. And then you'll realize the power dynamic and the asymmetry of power. I was a hater until I saw your takes on my city and what you said. I officially admit I'm wrong and that you're a good man for that. It's all good, brother. It always happens to be this way. There are plenty of people who change their mind in real time when they actually encounter me in the real world, or when they see some of my coverage on an issue that they do care about. Because when it's an issue that they do care about, all of a sudden they realize like, oh, I'm actually guided first and foremost by empathy. Empathy for those who have less power in the situation. Empathy for those who are vulnerable in the situation, who don't have the protection. And all of a sudden you're not seeing me from a negative lens that was deliberately crafted by dipshits who actually don't fucking care about you and are simply trying to farm content off of fuck Hasan clicks, or because they have an antagonistic position to any kind of progressive politics. That's it. But yeah, as I was saying, my goal with the UCLA student encampments was to show you how different the reality on the ground was from the way the media was framing it. The LA protests are the same. It feels chaotic from afar, but the protesters are your neighbors. The threat is ICE. The threat is the police. And she goes, what's this right-wing broadcaster goes, what's the smoke in the background of your photo from? It's fucking tear gas. Ironically enough, this wasn't behind the Waymos. This is just tear gas that the cops had deployed. Why wear a mask? Please enlighten us. Oh my God, fucking blue check marks on Twitter. There's some of the dumbest people on the planet. Like, why am I wearing a mask? Because they're deploying tear gas, man. Do you think I'm wearing a mask to hide my identity? I'm 6'4". I'm wearing my own merchandise, and I have fucking 80,000 people watching, like on camera. I don't think I'm hiding my identity at all. What is this? Yet he's in his house making tons of money from just sitting on his screen. What is this? Oh, this is someone responding to a hater. Looking veiny, brother. Thank you. Blue checks are not people, dog. Not enough questions about your bicep vascularity and too much about the mask. Please wear a better mask than that, though. Don't fuck up your lungs, homie. Yeah. I have a fucking camera following me as I go through this goddamn protest. Like, obviously, you know what's really funny about it? At least in my estimations, one of the funniest things I always see, aside from like the people who first go from, you always just sit on your ass, you never go to a fucking protest, to, well, okay, you did go to a protest, but honestly, I hate that you went to the protest because you're a fucking terrorist. I hope they kill you at the protest. Okay? But then there's also... There's also my favorite type of person who's like, well, you know, gotta hand it to him. Gotta hand it to him. I guess he went to a protest one time, calm down. And it's like, dude, you say this every time. You say this every fucking time. I go to protests literally nonstop. I go to rallies. I speak at rallies. I fucking fundraise for all the issues that I talk about. It's just, you have only fucking seen me through the lens of people who are not political at all and are just on the fuck Hasan tip. You dumbass. Stop watching those stupid fucking morons, okay? Don't even watch me either, but I'm just saying, like, don't get your information from these people. I'd really appreciate... What? And then there's this. Yo, don't mean to get you down, but I was a little disappointed yesterday when you didn't use your platform to tell people to join the protests. It felt like you were just doing protest tourism. You have so much opportunity to organize peacefully. Don't be afraid of getting arrested for a few days. Chat will wait for you, big dog. Take permaban. That's it. Dumbass, that's why I'm there. What are you talking about? Oh my fucking Lord, dude. Some of you guys are so fucking stupid. Anytime somebody says, hey, can you check my last comment? It's actually really important. It's usually the dumbest thing I've ever encountered. There's never been a moment where I haven't fucking urged people to go out and protest. I always do. And if you're saying like, well, you didn't protest hard enough, like, what do you want me to do? Fucking blow up a Waymo on camera? Like, punch a cop? Like, what are you, stupid? Don't be afraid to get arrested. That's a fan, by the way. That's not even a fucking hater, which is ironic because that's what my haters say. My haters will turn around and use that opportunity to be like, see, even his fucking fans are like demanding more from him, but he won't do it because he's a fucking pussy. It's like, yeah, dude, I'll kill myself. Don't worry. One of these days. Don't worry. Do you think it's worth protesters coordinating their attention to media cameras, calling for people to join them in the streets instead of giving attention to the police? Did you hear about the security surveillance on protesters at University of Michigan campus is so uncomfortable even after they said they stopped it? Yeah. Where were we? What was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, like I said, a big part of what I'm trying to do here, obviously, other than urge people to go and also participate in these actions. But the other, Asman says, what you did was illegal, citizenship removal. I know. Yeah, that's not how that works. Okay? So what I was going to say is the other reason is because, like I said, from my own personal anecdotes, I want to explain to people, like, to the best of my ability, what it feels like to be there, right? And be on the side of the protesters rather than the kinds of information that you oftentimes get, the kinds of information that you often get from the media that is one step removed. Like they have an unbiased framework, okay? But that I think they have an unbiased framework that oftentimes is biased towards power, okay? And that in and of itself causes people who are watching from afar to develop the wrong opinions. Because when you look at it from afar, like, and I know this as well, like I know this from my own personal experience, right? When you look at this stuff from afar, even when I'm covering it, it looks super chaotic. From top-down images of cars being burnt and all of this, like all of this crazy, tumultuous back and forth, right? But when you're there, you have a feeling of safety and security when you're around the people, okay? When you're around regular people. And the only time when you feel unsafe is when you're around the cops. And there is no way to explain it to people. I mean, I'm trying my very best, right? But there's no way to explain this to people other than just like experiencing it on your own. If you go to like people offering each other food, acts of solidarity, people offering each other water. There are field medics out there. You know what I mean? The only sense of danger comes from people who are armed and also have no legal repercussions for using said less lethal arms on the civilians there, or even tear gassing an entire fucking crowd. Like, that's it. And you have to remember, like, I know that the state has a monopoly on violence, right? As in, when the state engages in violent acts, that is seen as the norm. When the state engages in violent acts, that is seen as the norm. When you actually retaliate against that in self-defense, That's unacceptable. That's the real violence. That's what people hyper-focus on, right? But even before police brutality at these fucking protests, the first act that triggered the community to organize was literally a violent act that is supposed to be legally sanctioned. ICE raids at fucking Home Depot, ICE raids at Home Depot, and ICE raids being conducted in courthouses, basically openly admitting ICE raids happening at graduations, like at schools, where the federal government is openly admitting that they are not invested in finding criminals at all. They are actually there to fill a quota. These are human beings that are a part of our communities, okay? These are human beings that have been living here. These are human beings that are collaborating and cooperating with the federal law enforcement agencies, with the immigration authorities. And the price that they pay for said cooperation, for following the book, for literally doing everything right, they're used as pawns because Stephen Miller decided we have to get 3,000 people out of this country a day. And in an effort to deport 3,000 plus people a day, they also are shredding due process, constitutional protections that these people had, that we all are supposed to have. That is an incredibly violent act. That is unimaginably violent. That is so much more violent than burning a fucking Waymo, which, for the record, is not productive. I understand that. I'm not like sitting here and being like, I'm glad that they burned the Waymos. I'm just saying I don't give a fuck about the Waymos, okay? I don't care. Because at the end of the day, what I was trying to describe to Mason when we were sitting in front of the burning Waymos and we were talking about this was that we care about property damage because property damage ends up harming someone's bottom line. It ends up hurting someone's financial situation, and therefore it ends up hurting their lives, right? Like maybe it was someone's rental property or something, and that's their nest egg, right? It's easy to say like, oh, who gives a fuck? Fuck those people, right? And I understand if you are not invested in anything, but what a lot of people fail to consider is why you hate property damage. The reason why you hate property damage is because human beings are hurt at the end of the property damage. You don't actually defend property for the sake of property. You are saying property damage is bad because it hurts people. So ultimately, if that is your driving force behind like getting angry at property damage, then you should be extra mad about the human beings that are being ripped away from their families. He actually clipped that combo here.
Going out here.
Are you streaming?
Tear gas is going. I'm on Instagram right now. I just got banned on TikTok.
Wait,
so
because
they're crazy. Yeah. So.
Were you down there?
I was just down there. We were just in front of the police. So
yeah.
they did a little bit of gassing and they're continuing to push people back, but everyone's remaining strong. So
good.
Just got to make sure that we keep it up. Are you trying to get down there?
I was down there. We backed away after we were down there.
Understandable.
And then once they started flashbanging and gassing, we were like, might as well move back up here.
Yeah, I mean, we're still, the amount of people here is still.
Yeah.
So we've been, obviously the big narratives that we're going to see tomorrow is like people saying that everyone's coming here to do just this. And when there's unrest and when there's unjust institutions, stuff like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But how would you kind of quell the fears of people who support the cause but see this and start to get second thoughts?
I mean, it's property damage at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Look, we're right here. We're not doing anything, and I don't feel like I'm under threat. I'll tell you when I feel like I'm under threat. When the fucking cops are tear gassing us, when we're on the side of the road, even when we're not even on the road, that's like property damage at the end of the day is only consequential because it hurts humans, right? It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts people's profit margins and therefore potentially their bottom line and therefore their livelihoods. But a lot of people worry about property damage for the sake of property damage in of itself. This isn't to say like this is all great, but But at the end of the day, it's not like a terrifying situation at all. Seeing it on television obviously feels a lot different than just like being right here. When you're right here, you realize it's nothing to be that fearful of. And ultimately, what is far more consequential and far more dangerous is the fact that ICE is unjustifiably kidnapping people, doing dragnets in neighborhoods, lying about how migrants are criminals, rapists, and then going after children and women and working families and people that are just at their job sites.
Yeah, I mean,
that's far more important to focus on than a bunch of people fucking, breaking a Waymo. Like, I don't give a shit. Fuck Waymos.
No, seriously. And majority of
Yeah, and I think, like, do we really have to baby talk to liberals like that? Yeah, I mean, I think so. But even then, there are plenty of people who refuse to hear what I have to say. I think, like, XQC was live responding to it, and his fucking chat was eating his ass alive in the process. Because I saw something. I saw something that he was saying, like, he's like, dude, what if they burned his Porsche, dude? What if they burned his fucking Porsche, dude? Then he wouldn't say it's inconsequential, dude. And it's like it's so fucking stupid. It's so incredibly fucking stupid. Where is it? There's like a video for it. I'm pretty sure I saw a video. I think it was on Ostwit, the community. I mean, he's just hitting. Guys, stop sending me this link. Okay, I know. Yes. This is a joke about Emily in the community saying if Hasan gets deported, send him my way. Someone has to make sure the revolution is well fed with chicken and Puerto Rican cafecito, among other things. It's a joke. I got it. Hold on. Okay. Like, no, I'm not even going to get into the weeds of the, like, Waymo is not like someone's personal property thing. Okay. From what I understand, he was saying something like criticizing why Hasan is wearing a flag. I don't know what flag I'm wearing. I'm not really wearing a flag. Claims Hasan doesn't believe what he preaches as Hasan is out in the streets in the middle of the anti-ICE protest, crashes out about 9/11 jokes. Oh, he's wearing not a flag, a mask. Never mind. But I think there was a decent amount of pushback from his own community for this, so that's good. I'm glad that the juicers are on the right side of history, at least enough of them are. And they basically realized that like, he's doing the fucking right-wing heel turn that he's been entertaining for a while. Already? Okay, enough with the memes. Okay, please, I need to go through like actual news coverage. And but basically, like, he immediately goes, "Oh, dude, you wouldn't have the same feeling if this was you wouldn't have the same feeling if this was your own car." It's like, first of all, yes, you're right. There is a difference. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. But secondly, even if someone were to burn my fucking leased car, like, I still have insurance. If the alternative is like someone burns randomly my leased car, but in the process that person doesn't go out and, like, I don't know, kidnap someone, then yeah, that's a far more preferable outcome. That's what I'm saying. It's not nice. It's not great. It's fucking awful. But like it's such a stupid fucking take.
It hurts people's profit margins and therefore potentially their bottom line and therefore their livelihoods. But a lot of people worry about property damage for the sake of property damage in itself. To say, like, this is,
The worst part about this also is that he doesn't understand the point I'm making. I'm not saying that, like, not only is it a false equivalence, but also I'm not saying, like, this is good, this is great. I really love that they're burning Waymos. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm simply saying is the reason why people care about property damage is because it hurts people, right? Like, that's the reason why you're supposed to care about property damage, because somewhere along the way, there is a person, a human being, whose livelihood might be potentially harmed by this, right? And that person didn't deserve it, right? Like a storefront owner, a small business owner that has their fucking storefront smashed and has their inventory stolen, right? Like, that person didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that they deserve it. But the reason why you care about that is because that's an innocent person whose livelihood was harmed. And if you care about the livelihood of innocent people to that degree, then you should absolutely care about the much more consequential unjustifiable actions by fucking ICE, the federal government. Because what do you think happens to poor people that are simply trying to work, that are collaborating and cooperating with the immigration enforcement authorities, and for the false belief, the naivete that they have that this system is supposed to be lawful, they get treated like numbers on a board in order to prove a political point. They get fucking arrested at court hearings, right? At immigration court, when they are in the process, of like following through their asylum application, okay? When they're at their school graduations. What good does that do to this country? It actually only has downsides, no upsides whatsoever. So that's my point. My point is, if you care about a fucking Waymo being burned, you should care about immigrants being burned, okay? Immigrants being shipped off to a CCOP facility with no fucking due process. That's infinitely more consequential to human lives, okay? That's it. Like, reorient your priority. Now, getting back to like Waymos in particular, it's as close as you can get to a fucking victimless crime, okay? You're impacting the bottom line of a faceless, lifeless Silicon Valley corporation. It's not good, but the reason why it's not good is not because like you're hurting fucking Waymo's feelings. It's not good because it's dangerous. It's very dangerous to fucking light an electric battery operated car on fire in the middle of a fucking crowded area, because a lot of people are inhaling those toxic fumes and it could potentially explode. Okay? EV fires are dangerous as fuck. That is the real danger. Okay? Vandallığı okeyleştirmeye çalışman çok önemlisi. I'm not. Oğlum sen Türk değil misin ya? Gezi protestolarını görmedin mi? Allah belanı versin senin yani. Tam köpeksin ha. Ulan Türkler Amerikalılardan daha iyi biliyor otoriteryen bir devlete karşı savaş vermeyi daha iyi bilmesi lazım. Kendi hayatında görmüş olman lazım bunun sıkıntısını. Allah belanı versin. Tam köpeksin yani. Turkish chatter. Yeah, I know. I'm going to talk about the Bernie thing anyway. But yeah, I'm just clearing up this misunderstanding because I know a lot of people have this misunderstanding. A lot of people get their notes from apolitical charlatans like that are basically hitting the fucking right-wing grift. The libtards are not helping their cause from a guy who does not care about the cause and is simply using it to farm some clicks. Toenail eater guy famous for never showing up to events, and the tooth blood wall guy famous for never leaving his biohazard house have some thoughts on how to effectively protest law. This isn't a third world country. This is Los Angeles. My point isn't to say it's good to fucking burn the Waymos. I'm not like LARPing, okay? It is dangerous. It is dangerous. It's dangerous to the protesters. Dangerous to inhale those toxic fumes. Dangerous to also, dangerous to inhale those toxic fumes. And certainly dangerous if it explodes, okay? But once again, if you have this kind of energy for Waymos, it's like, it almost comes across like XQC cares more, like XQC would be more mad if ICE agents were actually fucking deporting Waymos instead of immigrants. You know what I mean? Like if they were, God forbid, ICE agents would deport, or harm capital. That would be way scarier than the actual human beings. Like, you have to understand, you can only arrive at this conclusion if you kind of feel like all of the undocumented migrants or even documented migrants that are going through the application process, for example, they kind of deserve to be deported. They kind of deserve to be removed from this country's borders. Now, XQC himself is a fucking immigrant, so it makes it even funnier for him to have this dumbass fucking take. He's literally Canadian. And the people that they are ripping away from their fucking families and their communities are infinitely more productive members of society, okay? XQC does not know how to fucking put a drywall together, okay? In a matter of days. In the same way that the Latino dude that's like sitting outside of Home Depot that's getting fucking removed from the United States of America borders does, all right? Those motherfuckers are picking crops. They're fucking working. They're incredibly hardworking people, and they get fucked over. They should be getting paid more. They should be getting their proper documentation from the government, not being removed after spending years on U.S. soil as tax-paying citizens. Because think about how little this makes sense. Trump administration claims that they're going after criminals. They're going after rapist, migrant criminals, or whatever the fuck, right? Obviously, when anybody on U.S. soil is doing a heinous crime, they go through the proper channels. They get prosecuted. They go to jail and maybe even subsequently get deported after they go through their jail sentence. All right? That is the law. That is what's been going on under every single administration. But what is this administration doing? They're going to job sites. How do they know that there are undocumented migrants at job sites? Oh, that's right. Because they get the fucking information from the IRS. Now we know that the IRS is collaborating under the Trump administration with ICE. But wait a minute. I thought these guys didn't pay taxes. So how the fuck does the IRS know that there are migrants working at a fucking job site? Oh, that's right, because they do fucking pay taxes. So literally everything that these people have made up about undocumented migrants and documented migrants across the board is just entirely made up. Entirely. Okay? I'll take it one step further. These guys, why don't they follow the law? Why don't they come in the right way? Okay, well, I'll have you know, ICE, when they apprehend someone at a fucking courthouse, is actually apprehending someone and deporting them for following the law, for doing things the right way. Why the fuck is the migrant at the courthouse, dumbass? It's because they're going to an immigration court hearing. These are people who have been here for like 10 years. They have American citizen partners that they're married to, and the government keeps them in this limbo status deliberately, okay? Instead of giving them citizenship, they say, hey, listen, ICE has this protocol where they'll say, just check in with us every couple of months, and you're fine. You have authorization, you're a tax-paying worker on U.S. soil, and you're fine. All of a sudden, Trump comes in and the Trump administration wants to make a point about, black and brown people getting deported. Now ICE decides you're no longer fine. So they're punishing people for following the fucking law. They're not actually going after rugged criminals. They're going after people that are following the letter of the fucking law. What happened? What happened to deporting rapists? None of it makes sense when you think about it. Anyway, here's Trump live speaking about the LA protests.